Also, do you want an eye mask? Because I know you're tired. What's the male equivalent of eye masks? Are you cool with talking about bi stuff? Being bisexual, you're like bilingual in heartbreak. No way. Vision board. David Farrier had a vision board.
It's so fun giving advice when you've got no qualifications. How did you decide to do it? Because it's such a good idea. How did you decide to do this from the bed? Because it instantly kind of disarms you.
Oh, really?
And because every podcast is in a studio, isn't it? You know, and they've all got their little sets and they're all, including myself. Do. But you've got this, and it's such a nice idea.
Aw, thanks, David. That means a lot because you're my podcast hero. Truly, you're my inspo. You have an amazing podcast called Flightless Bird, but the idea of doing it in bed was literally purely a budget decision. Like I didn't have the budget to have the studio. That's also why I'm filming with my
but when
phone.
were you thinking like you could do it at your kitchen table or something? Like why on the bed?
Good question. I think I was going through it. I feel like generally, if you're informed and have a heart, it's been a rough couple of years. And it's been a tough decade. And I wanted to sort of, I don't know, acknowledge I'm in bed a lot. And that's a place that's like a comfort place for me. And so I wanted to just be real and also sort of normalize being in bed and working from bed and connecting in bed.
Yeah, because you can do everything from bed. You can work from bed. All sorts of things.
Do you work in bed?
I
know you're not supposed to.
Weirdly don't. I read in bed. To work, I like to be vertical. Horizontal for reading and watching stuff, working up.
Where do you read your book about sperm cooking recipes?
In the kitchen. No, that's practical.
Okay, so for people who don't know the reference, David and I went live on Substack a couple of months ago.
Yes.
And I don't know how it derailed. I think it was supposed to be about like us like getting deported. Like, what are we going to do? Like, it was like this Substack live could get us deported because we have this similar experience of being immigrants, being non-citizens to this country. And then I don't know how we went from that to your bookshelf and then to this, you had a sperm.
I had the bookshelf was in the back of Shot and you were like, what's on the bookshelf? And I went there and there were lots of good books to choose from. But I have two books that I'm very proud of. And they are, I can't remember the exact title, but basically one is Cocktails with Sperm and one is Dinners with Sperm. And so it's the same author. And I'm a big fan of going on Amazon and finding out sort of obscure books that are self-published.
Yeah.
And my the one that I'll still order for people for their birthdays and Christmas is called Wet Goddess.
Wet Goddess?
Yes.
Okay. What's Wet Goddess about?
It is written by a guy called Malcolm Brenner. And in the 70s, he had a 6-month relationship with a dolphin. It's such an intense thing to talk about because it's on one level, it's awful.
Sure.
But on the other hand, it's quite comical. And what I really liked about Malcolm's story and also hated about it is that he was very adamant that the dolphin initiated everything, a female dolphin. So he wasn't someone that set out to have a sexual relationship with a dolphin. The dolphin started it.
Come on.
Which, when you start reading about dolphin behavior, like they are incredibly horny.
They are the only animal that has sex for pleasure, aren't they? Or is that an urban myth?
The pig?
No, the pig has unlimited orgasms.
Yeah,
and then dolphins.
Dolphins are
these
pleasure.
are facts that you learn when you're 9 years old. Like there's like a rite of passage. Like when you're 9, someone tells you this.
And it sticks.
Dolphins have sex for pleasure, whereas other animals don't. But also I'm like, I feel like other animals are. Like, have you ever been around a dog that just humps you? Like, and it's not for reproduction. You're like, this is not reproduction.
Excited by the whole thing.
They seem exactly.
And
it's
the
not
lipstick
about.
comes out.
Horny dogs need to be studied.
His whole thing was Malcolm was working part-time at a friend's aquarium. Yeah. And this is in the 70s when things were a lot looser. And you had like casual people with aquariums with dolphins in them in Florida. And remember, this is Florida. So he had a job cleaning the tank. Over time, as he documents in Wet Goddess, the dolphins started coming onto him and grinding against him and that kind of thing. And eventually it just happened and they formed a really, according to Malcolm, a very intense sexual bond to the point that when he went to university studies 6 months later, when he started and left the tank cleaning, Ruby, that was the dolphin.
He named her Ruby or she was called?
She was already called Ruby.
Okay, got it. Okay.
He probably had pet names for her. The dolphin got so depressed about the separation that she held her breath and sank to the bottom of the tank and killed herself.
No.
And that's another fact I learned. Dolphins are the only mammal that can commit suicide besides us.
Wow.
And so the dolphin was really cut up. Malcolm was really sad because his dolphin lover had died. And he, to get around, I think, kind of bestiality laws and that kind of thing, he wrote a book kind of from the third person. So it's Wet Goddess, written by Malcolm Brenner, is kind of one step removed about these things. It's like when the football player, what's his name, who killed his wife? You know, the famous one, really famous guy.
O.J. Simpson?
O.J. Simpson. So he wrote a book basically about how someone would have done it. And it's basically him confessing as a third person. Same thing with Wet Goddess, but no murder.
No
but
murder, but a death and a potential, is it rape?
Yeah, I mean, so to be clear, don't condone anyone a dolphin at all.
Don't do that.
But so anyway, my point is, I love going onto Amazon and finding these books that have been self-published. That was one of my favorites. I found this other author that has a series of books about semen recipes. And how to incorporate them into your life.
I want to get back to incorporating semen into your life. But first I need to touch on something that just, I don't know if this is insane, an insane thought.
Okay.
But you just said dolphins are the only animal that commit suicide. That's what we have in common. And the other thing we have in common is sex for pleasure. Is suicide is like our desire to have sex and
I wonder,
connected.
That's so interesting. Like we have, or is it simply that our brains are so big in humans and dolphins that we're so hyper aware that we have like part of our brain that's like sex is pleasurable and also this is all horrific. I need to get out of here. You know, like we're too aware of what's going on. You know, so like an ant is just like having sex with another ant, just whatever, mindless. Yeah. It's not thinking about mortality and the troubles of life.
And don't you think so much of our pain and suffering comes from lack of relationships, which are connected to sex? I mean, I'm coming back to this idea. If we are the only two, or let's just keep it to humans.
Don't confuse it.
I don't want to psychoanalyze dolphins.
If someone starts playing this halfway through, like, what the fuck? I think they're listening to Joe Rogan or something, just like rambling on about nonsense.
Dolphin to sex.
We did get to this place for a reason. I see what you're saying, though. That's a really interesting theory.
Right?
And I also worry now that I've just said so confidently that dolphins and humans are the only mammals that do that. But I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
Well, sometimes I think my goldfish, I thought, had committed suicide.
Too depressed in that tank?
But when they flip out.
Yeah.
Really?
You
know, they just...
It flipped itself out of the tank. Having a horrific life with you.
I guess it's just really hard to be around me.
Did it happen to you?
Yeah, I feel like I'm at the age where like I can't remember if things have happened to me or someone else.
Absolutely.
But I definitely, I did have a goldfish die, which canon event. If you were born in the 90s, 80s and 90s, you had a goldfish that passed away.
Oh my God, that's horrific.
And I think it happened to my best friend, Adrienne Passanelli, and she was pretty mortified. And I didn't say anything at the time because I didn't want to make her more upset. But I was like, yikes, that sounds like he didn't want to be around.
That's
that
horrific.
Must be hard.
Yeah, no, that's horrible.
Well, I had no idea we were going to get into suicide and sex, but here we are. This is what happens when you have conversations with David.
I know things can go
anywhere.
Things
can go anywhere. But I did have, there's a few things I wanted to talk about.
Because I was curious as well of when you make the show, do you come in with ideas or is it all winging it?
It's a mix of,
because you make things very organic in your conversation,
David.
Which is like, you're very good at this.
This is so sweet. Also, do you want an eye mask? Because I know you're tired.
I am tired. I'll give it a go.
Okay. These are 24 gold eye masks.
Okay.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds like important. I also can wear the eye mask. I have two.
Can you put it on?
Yeah, I can do it.
Oh, it does feel nice.
It does, right?
Yeah.
What's the male equivalent of eye masks for boys?
I mean, I feel like men are into all sorts of skincare now that we weren't into.
Oh, yeah?
You know, decades gone. But I don't know, self-care for men. I don't know. What do men do? Men love going to the gym. Men love, in LA, they love taking their shirts off and going on big walks to show off their nips and abs.
Wait, really? Have you ever done it? Have you ever taken your shirt off?
I could think of nothing worse. I could think I would be mortified.
It is weird.
Just there's not any part of me that could do it.
That could do that. I do think it's bold. And then I think, if this, then what else? If you are going around.
It's a slippery slope.
It's a slippery slope, but it's also like, wow, like what is it like being you? I think about this all the time because I'm obsessed with gender, but it's like, what is it like being a man? And then I think, okay, if you just are so free and comfortable with yourself, believe that that can be imposed on everyone else. Like if you are taking off your shirt in public, what else is true about you? What else is true about what you think and how you think?
And how you see yourself in the world.
And how you see yourself in the world.
It does speak to, I guess you have a lot of self-confidence if you can sort of take your shirt off.
It's incredible.
And stuff. I don't like it.
You don't?
I feel like I don't want to, I don't have to watch.
Is it better?
Yeah, it's just, I find it, if they're close to me as well and running, like I'm worried sweat's going to flick off them onto me. I always hold my breath when one of them runs by because I don't want a big waft. One time when a shirtless male ran around past me, I held my breath, but then I timed it wrong. And so when I took the breath in, that's when the smell hit me. That was bad.
No, you smelled it?
I thought it was awful. Yeah. No, so I'm not a fan. I don't like seeing it. Put your shirt on.
Well,
be riddled with more shame like me and just keep that shirt on.
Shame is a very important function in society. And I think it's one of the reasons, coming back to why being alive has been a little harder in the last 10 years. I think shame doesn't operate anymore. People have no shame. Something as simple as being on a FaceTime full volume or playing a video at full volume in public, I think is literally a function of that. It's not a big infraction, but it sort of speaks to where we're at as a society.
It's funny. I've got such a different sort of thoughts on shame because I see shame as being like such a bad thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, be like, if you can be rid of shame, go for it.
Sure.
But also you can go too far in the other direction.
Yeah.
I just think like shame is such a weird thing that you get like riddled with as like a kid or something, and it can like get rid of it.
Well, that's true. I think politicians should have shame. I think
absolutely.
That's what's happening. Like people who are
but
in power.
They don't have it because most politicians are psychopaths.
Yeah.
And so they don't have any of it.
Or they used to pretend like they did. I think they were better at pretending. And now they just
like
don't.
Masks off.
Yeah, they're just like, no, we're not. Okay, well, this is a good pivot, not the psychopath part, but the topless men part, into the topic that I wanted to talk about today. I did want to text you this, but then I thought if I text David this, he's not gonna come over.
Wow.
Basically.
It's a setup. It's live streaming right now.
We're streaming
live. You're here to mess up my life.
No, I won't. No. It's just that it sounds more controversial than it is, but I wanted to text you at, again, 7 a.m. when I was preparing this morning. Are you cool with talking about bi stuff?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, that's like the least scary thing to talk about.
Okay, perfect. I had a bisexual realization this morning as I was writing, as I do, and reflecting on what we could be talking about. So I basically went on a date with a woman. Things didn't work out, but it was a pretty tumultuous time.
Okay. In your life or in the world?
In my life. It was kind of a tumultuous relationship, even though we went on one date. And then I realized... I don't mean
to laugh.
No, that's such a woman thing. And
I think tumultuous is so fun.
Oh,
I think that's my problem. I like tumultuous.
Fun? Me too.
And that can be a bad thing.
Wait, David, that also has been a realization. I think I just like having fun over finding a long-term partner. Sometimes I think, even though I rationally really do, I think I want a long-term partner more than you do, actually. Not meaning like I prioritize, in a bad way. Like I prioritize it too much. But then I've realized but I really like having fun. Sometimes I go for the wrong people because I like having fun. Yeah. And I like when things are interesting. And
that doesn't necessarily marry up with having a great long-term relationship, different things.
Exactly. But basically I realized, what gives you a lot of empathy for men is dating women. Because basically I realized Hannah Eibinger, how do you say that?
I feel really she's from Hacks.
Yes.
Yeah, she's great.
She's amazing. So Hannah,
she likes rights and stars and everything.
She's always on the right side of history. She will go down.
Yeah, it seems like Stone Cold Legend.
Yeah. And everything she says is a correct take. Hannah Eibinger had a stand-up special, and she's bisexual. Yeah. And she says being bisexual, you're like bilingual in heartbreak, right? Like because you've dated two genders, right? Like men and women, or you're attracted to men and women or had relationships with both. You kind of have more empathy, I think, for the other gender because you have dated everybody.
Yeah. You've seen that.
She has sort of thesis in her stand-up special. She says, I've dated men and women, and this is what you need to know. Men are dumb and women are annoying. And it is so true. After my stint with a woman, I want like a dumb guy. I just felt like I was constantly like disappointing her and like doing things wrong. And I was like, oh my God, is this how men feel all the time dating women where they're like, I'm not trying to hurt you. It's just I keep hurting you and I'm not on your level, but you're just doing like algebra and I'm in second grade math. Like that's how it sort of felt.
No, I think that's It's so interesting to think about. No, I think you're completely right. I think men, myself included, much slower and simpler and more basic. And we're not thinking of every little nuanced thing at every time.
Yeah.
Whereas I think women definitely are.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to think, because I've dated more women than men. What throws me is that one of the guys I dated was like an emotional, complex, insane person.
Oh.
And so obviously it doesn't always fit in that way.
Sure.
But no, you're right. Do you feel like you want to do a Taylor Swift and just have like a real dumb man there?
I've been thinking about
like
it.
Sort of a blockhead.
I've been thinking about
they
it.
Throw ball, have podcast, like have Taylor, rich, sort of that, like a knucklehead.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. You know, there's the whole dumb, evil, smart. You know,
I've seen that around
the axis of evil.
Yeah.
You know, sort of. So basically, if you don't know about this, I'm gonna get this wrong. She says, "What I've discovered is that every man in the world falls on this matrix. Basically, it's sweet to evil." On the y-axis, and then smart to dumb on the x-axis. And so we have our sweet and dumb, which is the Travis Kelce's, the golden retrievers. These guys are little low IQ. They're very loyal, but like it's not because it's a very like, there's not a lot going on up there.
Yeah.
And so their ability to hurt you is like just out of dumbness. It's being like, oh my God, I didn't know that you wanted me to buy the toilet paper and I got the wrong, you know, like that kind of stuff. And then there's the dumb and evil, which is the worst quadrant in my opinion, where they're dumb and they're evil. So they're, you know,
which is the people running the planet at the moment.
Yes. And then you have the unicorns who are the smart and sweet. So they are really smart and high IQ, but they're also tender and they, you know, are thoughtful. Those are the Ryan Goslings of the world.
That everyone dreams of having.
And then there's the smart and evil, which I believe those are the worst. Smart and evil, that will fuck you up for life. Those are the musicians, the narcissists. I don't know.
Yeah, smart. Actually, smart evil is a lot of that in the world at the moment as well.
So
100%.
So where do you fall in the court? What are you looking? Well, you're in a relationship.
But I am.
But
what
do you
am
think
I?
it's a good idea for me to go for dumb and sweet? Don't you think for me it would work?
Look, I'm going to be honest. I think these kind of charts are like, they can be useful for talking about things.
Yeah.
But also, you're just going to meet someone and kind of like, this is great.
Yeah.
Not everything falling into the exact right place, but it just kind of like, you're just like, this is intriguing and great and wonderful. And it's a bit dramatic, but it's also really safe and calm. And I feel like if you start, it's kind of the same with attachment styles.
Yeah.
Like I found learning about attachment super helpful for some basic stuff. But then if you get too locked into, I mean, it's all over TikTok, right? Like every single like, which is in a way is great, but also it can sort of simplify things almost too much.
It can.
And I think once you start thinking too much in that way, it can be great to start a discussion, but can also get you locked into a place that is just not winnable.
Yeah.
Because you might meet a dumb golden retriever.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Or maybe you'll meet like an evil narcissist and that will be your wonderful thing. Yeah. Actually, that won't be your wonderful thing. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
I think these charts are too
reductive
in a way. I don't know if I like them.
And I've done this thing where I will convince myself like, oh, this is the dumb, you know, because I'm trying to manifest a goofball. That's my new thing.
You want to
manifest a goofball.
Okay. You want to be a goofball
no,
or you want to meet a goofball?
I want to meet a goofball.
Yeah,
I want my
laugh.
person, to be like dorky, cute goofball. But then if I meet someone who's a little maybe evil, I'm so blinded by a joke that they made and I'm like, oh, there's my goofball. Or I'll be like, he's a Cancer. That means it's, you know, I'm insane. And so I have to be careful with these graphs.
Why do you want the goofball? You just want to laugh?
I really
that's
like
important.
laughing.
Yeah, laughing is everything.
Last summer I tried to manifest hot and kind. That's all I wanted. I just wanted someone hot and kind.
That's like a Ryan Gosling character?
Sure,
sort
actually.
Of, maybe?
Yeah, Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling has always been my number one celebrity crush, like from a young age. Because I'm Canadian, so he was on Breaker High, which was a show about...
Oh, you got him young.
I got him young.
Yeah,
he was
you've been
like
there
14
the whole time.
or 15. Yeah, I was like, yes. But basically, that didn't work out. Hot and kind didn't work because it just didn't work. And so I had to switch over my manifestations. And so now it's goofball.
Oh, that's right. You do manifestations as well.
Yeah, I do. I'm nuts.
Which I also get. I get the idea of like focusing on a thing. And I can partially like do a bit of that woo.
Basically, I think manifestation, if you have anxiety, it's like medicine because you could argue it's silly. I mean, some people are, and kind of do want to bring on an expert. There's neuroscience behind it. If you think about our brains, right? We're not wired for happiness, we're wired for survival. And so we have negativity bias embedded, right? Our brains are scanning for threats, not because, well, some people's brains, I think, if you have anxiety, like we'll scan more for threats. And I definitely, that's my wiring. That's my status quo. If I don't do anything for my brain,
that's your default.
I'm like, what's the problem? What can I fix? What can potentially go wrong? And so manifestation for me just is like a brainwashing myself.
No, I get it. I think I do that with work, not with relate. So you're just doing it with a different thing. I think I do the manifestation thing with, what do you do? I really like focus on a thing. I mean, I used to put up photos on the wall of like things I wanted to like figure out how to do.
Vision board. David Farrier had a vision board.
It was a very crude vision board, but it was a crude vision board.
And do you not have it anymore?
Yeah. No, I do it mentally. So I'll still do it. But
what
it's
is
like
it?
in the brain.
What's on your vision board so we can play it when you get all the things you've asked for? Oh, it's private.
So, and that's where I get heavily into woo because I think all that shit is so charged. Yeah. So if I have a goal or a thing, I won't share it with anybody because I think the more you share it, it like takes away from the power of that thing. And I think that's one of the worst things about Los Angeles is that people love sharing every little project that they're dreaming of doing, which for the people is maybe good on them if they want to do it. True. I've got evidence. If I have ever done that with something, if I've shared a thing before it's happened or before it's become a reality, it will fall over and it will never happen. Horrific. And so I will tell people about a thing once it's done.
Right. Oh, so where are the pancakes?
I think they should be en route. Not yet? It's a big, you drink from a jar.
Very Canadian.
That's great. So just off camera that you didn't see, Liz just went and drank some water, but from a huge jar. But you'd picked up a bucket, which has just brought back a core memory. It's really good.
Jar ASMR.
One of the wildest things I've ever seen in my entire life, which is just brought back, is I was filming something with some people one day for a documentary. I won't say which one. Because I feel bad bringing up these topics because I always think, is the person listening? And I don't want to make them feel
Nobody's
bad
listening to this.
And so for the backstory, like this person, wonderful, great legend, but did a very wild thing where we were all sitting around a table at a bar and we were waiting for drinks to come. And I'd order my typical, I love an IPA, a nice cold IPA.
Love it.
Some people would order, Coca-Cola, whatever, whiskey, whatever. Anyway, this person was clearly very thirsty because in front of everyone, there was a little jar with floral decorations in the middle of the table. And they took that jar and they sort of pushed the flowers and stems aside.
Stop, David.
And had a drink. David. And I thought I was having a stroke because like, this can't be real. Like I must have died and this is just like my brain dying and seeing some fucked up shit play out. It happened, drank it, ball a move because they were happy as Larry. They had a drink, they were quenched, and they just put it back on the table and went on like nothing had happened.
Did anyone say anything?
And seeing you take a swig from that jar just brought it all back. I was like, I've seen that before.
I'm sorry, I'm giving you war flashbacks.
Anyway, I hadn't thought about that since it happened. Thank you for bringing that back.
Did anyone say anything?
We all looked, our little eyeballs were like locking with everyone at the table being like, did you see that? And you can just tell from the reaction that yes, they did see that. I realized I'm not dying. Like I haven't left this earthly plane. And life went on.
That is so funny.
It was one of the... That was a show where like all this wild shit was happening that we're filming. But it'll be the wildest thing I've probably ever seen.
I almost now want to do that. Anytime I do see a flower. Social experiment? Just as a social experiment. It's
worth planning it. Like at your house, next time you have a dinner party, get like the freshest like cut stems. So the water is clearly like it's not ruined from like a clean water. Put the water in like 5 minutes before your guests arrive.
Totally.
And then just have that going.
Okay, let's get into some boy problems. Malcolm says, I need help unghosting someone. I went on a date with a woman I really liked. It went well. She was funny, smart, easy to talk to. I remember thinking, oh no, I actually care. And that's when my brain decided to implode. I got really nervous, started saying the wrong thing. And then I just didn't say anything for 2 weeks. And it's now at the point where reaching out feels insane, but not reaching out also feels insane. I'm not a player. I'm just really anxious. How do I text someone again without sounding like I've been pacing in emotional purgatory for
oh my
14
God.
days?
People get so in their heads, don't they? Yeah. I do get worried. Look, Malcolm, no shade at you. I do get worried when people say I'm not a player. Because it's like, do you need to say that? It's what a player would say.
It's what a player would say.
So Malcolm, I'd say if you do on Ghost, don't open with that. Okay? Leave that between us.
Yes.
Assuming that you're not a player. Yes. Assuming that's the truth.
It's funny on ghosting, because ghosting, I think the definition of it, I think, is very tied to an intention of disappearing on someone. There was a reason for it, but it was because he didn't like her. It was. I
wouldn't call it, I wouldn't even think of it. Yeah. I think he needs to stop thinking of it as a ghosting. And I think he probably just needs to say what he told us. I had a great time. Like, I'm sorry, but I got really freaked out because it was so good. And I became an awkward idiot and didn't text you. I'd love to go on another date. And if they ghost you back or don't go, then you've fucked up and that's fine. Move on. Move on, Malcolm.
Can I ask you a question?
Whenever someone says, can I ask you a question? That's when it's going to be a really horrific, awkward. No, hit me.
I feel like that has never happened to me. Like, in no world do I go on a date with a guy who is amazing, kind, hot, funny, and I go, this is too good. He's too good. I must leave immediately the situation and be alone for 2 weeks.
It felt like what happened, though, is that in the date, he got awkward and feels bad about how the date went. Did I read it wrong?
He says, oh, no, I actually care. Like, it's like suddenly he was like, oh, there are stakes here. Really?
What a player would say.
So is that a thing that has happened to you? Like, or is that?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, totally.
Where it goes really well. Instead of that being an incentive to reach out, it becomes an incentive to.
Yeah, to a degree, not like in the confines of like one date. That feels like quite an intense change. For me, it's sort of like a long-term thing where if things are going too smoothly, I'll be like, uh-oh. Or if someone likes me too much, I'll be like, uh-oh, this can't be good. Because I have like an inbuilt thing that's like, if someone likes me too much, I think they're a lunatic because like, how can they like me that much? Which it sounds so sad. It's not actually, it's just like a silly little thing in my brain. It's not as sad as it sounds. I promise.
Why would someone be a lunatic for liking?
Oh, because I have like a very low self-esteem. So I have to like hype myself up a little bit to like get out into the world. And it's getting better.
Funny and interesting.
Thank you. It just sounds like I'm fishing for compliments when I bring that up.
But do you know how cool you are? Or like, do you remember who you are sometimes?
I'm proud of some of the things I've made and done, but like as a person, I feel like very insufficient. And so it's something I'm working on. My default kind of belief in myself is that I'm not worth anything unless I can prove it with something. I'm a workaholic, so I feel like really proud of like everything I make and everything I write and everything I do. I like put everything into it. But I have this, I think, core belief that without any of that stuff, I'm just absolutely sort of like a worthless by default. And that's like a very like deep inset thing and that I'm working on. But that is why if I am in a relationship and someone likes me a lot, I have to check myself because that makes me suspicious of their brain. Because I'm like, how could you like this? Like that means you are like, this is something wrong with you. That's what my thought process is, which sounds like really brutal when I surmise it like that.
No.
And it's a lot more nuanced and complex, but that's like a core little weird thing I have.
What was it as a kid that led you?
Oh, it's because I grew up as a hardcore Christian. My whole identity was built around, I have a relationship with Jesus, who, by the way, is imaginary, and I'm going to go to heaven. And all my worth was built on doing what the Bible said to do and all that stuff. And so when I found out that was all horseshit when I was late in life, like 19, 20, 21 onwards, I had to start again. And so I had to reform, and I think I still am, who I am. Like, what are my values? What are my belief systems? Why do I do that? Why do I not do that? And so I think it's just my suspicion that it's probably from that, where I had to start from scratch again. As I was starting from scratch, I latched on to things like work, like this makes me worthwhile, this gives life meaning, all that kind of stuff. But there's still that core thing where I'm like, who the heck am I? Like, what am I about? And so it's latched onto that shit, which also reminds me of another thing, which is an incredible thing I did last night. I went to a hell house.
What's that?
Do you know about this?
Hell?
A hell house.
Hell?
Yeah.
Like hell? Like hell?
Hell on earth. Americans, Pentecostal churches, and I'd known about this when I lived in New Zealand, they think Halloween is evil. So they don't celebrate Halloween because that's when, they don't like witches. They don't like Harry Potter. Anything like remotely a skeleton, Satan could get in. So what some Christians do in these churches do is they put on hell houses. And it is a haunted house that is set to scare you into reminding you that hell is a real place you'll go if you sin and don't accept accept Jesus, you go to hell. And so you walk in, and I drove an hour away. It's in a part of America that I can't remember the name of, but it's sort of like OC-ish, eccentric. Giant church there, and it's now set up as a haunt. And you walk into and there's a bit of like regular scary stuff, like some weird monsters, and they jump out at you and that kind of thing. Very high production values. So to set the scene, if you've done like Universal Horror Nights and you know how slick it is, it's kind of close to that. So it's not hokey. I'm just saying this is you line up for half an hour to get in. There are lines around the block. So to set the scene, it's like a really big thing. Hundreds of people going through every night. So if you like regular monsters, and then you'll go and you'll be in a room and it's a bunch of like teenagers like drinking and like smoking. And then the next room, you'll see all those teenagers. There's a full car set and they've all crashed and died. One of the kids is on the ground, really good prosthetics. He's like dying, blood's coming out. Next room, it's a club with like a lot of like sexy women and like hot guys dancing, just in, and there's some little devils sort of in the back of shot, like coming out. We weren't allowed phones in there, so I'm just relying on my memory now of last night. Next room, there's like a suicide room. So there's a girl that's like slit her wrists. There's a girl that shoots herself in the head. There's a gang room where it's very racially sort of profiled. So a bunch of not white people are in there sort of abusing women, gangy kind of a thing. There's a domestic abuse room. Anyway, you go through all this. The age is 12 to get in there. So there's kids going through, and then you eventually get to hell. The idea being of a hell house is that if you die or you choose the sinful life, like you overdose, you commit suicide, you're going to go to hell. So you go to hell, and hell is like this massive room you go into, and there's just like demons and Satan. It's quite full on. Like I was sort of going, God, this is quite intense. And then you come out into a big room at the end where you watch videos of all the scenarios you've seen: gang violence, murder. I was in OnlyFans room. I forgot about that. So they go through stats and they show you a bunch of news clips of people committing suicide, murders, like news footage that you're all watching on a big screen. And then the pastor comes out and says, okay, if you don't want to have a life with that stuff happening and you dying and you going to hell, then you got to accept Jesus. And about 50 people went up to the front of this room and converted to Christianity and got led off to sign up to this church. And then the rest of us went out into the night. My point of this very long story is that's the type of Christian and the type of church that will tell you like you're born a sinner, and unless you get Jesus, you're going to go to this place. For people that don't know, like in their mind, like hell is like a real destination where you're tortured for all eternity. So it's not like a weird thought process. It's like, no, it's a place you're going to go. And so this church, I went last night, they're still doing that. They're scaring people into becoming of this particular religion. And anyway, what was my point? Oh, yeah.
Talk about your attachment style.
Yeah.
About Malcolm's on ghosting. And your core wound, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, no, so that's the thing. So I was reminded last night that, oh, that's right. That's what like the church and stuff I went to, that's what they were. We didn't have hell houses in New Zealand, but that was still the teaching is that you are evil and bad, and without this imaginary friend in the sky, this will happen to you. And so I think that stuff still like is buried around somewhere in my little lizard brain.
I've been with avoidantly attached people, I feel safer if they can acknowledge it, right? Like it comes.
No, totally.
You know, I think just explaining, not just, I think apologizing and saying, I'm sorry if this, probably hurt your feelings. I think acknowledging her feelings will be really important.
Completely.
And then saying, this is something I'm working on. The date went well, and my reaction should have been obviously to reach out, and I did the opposite. And it's something No, you've just got to it might be a bit awkward, but you've just got to be honest and say, this is what happened. And how did you get over it? How did you change?
Oh, I'm still figuring it out. But because I've been in a relationship now for about a year and a half. What I've found helps is you just need to say what's happening. Like, don't pretend that like you're top of the world every day, but just like talk about how your brain works and how you're feeling about things. And I'm lucky that I'm with someone that is okay with that, and they'll like clock it and give me space and room and not be like deeply offended by it. And I'm not saying that everyone I think in a relationship wants to hear that the other person is just like they're there always mentally and physically and everything. But I think if you can kind of talk that through and they don't freak out, that's been like everything. It's amazing. So Malcolm just needs to like say what's going on.
on. Just say.
Just say it. Be honest. And then if it's the right person.
Well, yeah, if she or he replies and is like, it's up to them.
Totally.
And if they don't accept it, then that's on them. And you would have been better not to have been with them in the first place. Oh, hello. God, this is very good.
This one is we don't have a name. Here we go. Disclaimer. I am on my period. Oh my God, I'm on my period too. I am not operating as my highest self. Last night I had a moment of insecurity and made a comment about feeling ugly, like how insert famous comedian feels, in parentheses, not my proudest moment. My boyfriend of 5 years commented, "You are prettier than," insert comedian name. You're pretty. You were pretty when you were courting me. That was all fine. But why did he need to add you were pretty when you were courting me? Like, obviously, I don't take the time to wear dresses and put makeup every day. It's been 5 years of dating and we have a house together now. I told him that the last comment was hurtful and he responded, "I said you were pretty 3 times and that's the comment you took to heart." I think it's pretty dumb to use "you were" after I made a comment about that. Anyway, it's the next day and I'm still annoyed. David,
what is so stressful? This is like,
this is my bisexual translator.
That's what you're about to say, like what you said earlier, like this is so complicated and so intense when I think it's probably not that complicated. It's so fun giving advice when you've got no qualifications. I think she needs to like zoom out from this situation and look at like other things that are happening that have made this feel more of an impact. Or is everything else like lovely? Like he's saying nice things about you from time to time and he values you and all that stuff. And this is why this stands out. I think she needs to zoom out and look at the bigger stuff because this just seems like a slip of the tongue. Like in his mind, he was imagining dating and used the past tense and she's interpreting past tense as being like, I now think you're a horrific ogre, unlike your beautiful petite self. You know, from when I met you, you disgust me, you horrible demon woman. Go back to the pits of hell. When he probably doesn't mean that.
But that is how I swear to God the female brain works. Like what you just did, that's
where it goes.
Girl brain is insane. Like
it's more nuanced than like dumb man brain. Yeah, it's picking up on things.
It is smarter and more sophisticated. This is in general, but there is data that literally shows that we're able to process emotions in a more complex way. And whether that's, as I always say, nature, nurture, we don't know. We're not going to debate it right now, but there are sort of differences overall. And I think this is one of those, like his boy brain is not able to even probably validate your feelings because to him, it's just like, oh, it was a slip of the tongue. But for you, clearly it's digging into something that perhaps you are insecure about, right? Like maybe this has been something that you've been worried about. Oh, I wear less makeup now and maybe I'm not going on dates as much and dressing up for each other. And I don't know if he minds and I don't know if you mind. When I get really upset about something, I usually am like, what is this about? What is this really about? What is this really about?
I feel like it needs more discussion between the two of them. Or if she just like lets it go for a week and it goes away, then like life goes on. But if it's festering after a week, go and have a chat.
Also, you are on your period. I think that is a reasonable thing to consider. Our feelings are more affected. It's not your fault. It's not his fault. Well, David, this has been such a pleasure. I have learned
that's been really fun.
About avoidant attachment. I have learned so much about men.
Good.
So much about you. And I want you to know that I think you are one of the most spectacular people that I've ever met. I know so many people who are obsessed with you, by the way. The woman that makes these pillows.
Oh, I love these pillows. Please tell her she's watching. These are amazing.
And the people who are obsessed with you, by the way, are like really impressive people to me.
Oh, good.
Like you have a really amazing track record of like people who love you are like very intelligent, very smart, very caring people and talented people. And you're literally, David, when I'm trying to make a movie and I've told you this maybe before, but literally in my head is like, what would David do? Like you are a full blown like Picasso to me.
Thank you. I can't, as a New Zealander,
you can't accept
compliments, but that is nice to hear.
As a Canadian,
thank you.
And
you're also incredibly impressive. Obviously, I read your newsletter. I listen to your podcast. You write books. I just can't believe it. Anyone that writes a book, I feel like documentaries and books are a similar level of like, what the hell? Like, how do you even begin to do it? And not just to write it, but also for it to do like your stuff does very well. So good shit. You're good at connecting to humans. And thanks for having me. And also you make things like, I hate talking. I believe it or not, I don't love talking about myself.
Don't.
And you make it very easy. So thank you.
I'm always here if you want to talk about yourself or anything else. You are such an amazing force in my life and a source of light and funny moments.
Thank you. Thanks for having me in this very girly bed. If you like my weird things, I write a newsletter called Webworm, and there's a free version you can subscribe to. And if you like my weird sort of rabbit hole stuff, I do weird deep dives on there that you might like. And it's at www.webworm.co, because I couldn't afford the .com. So I got .co. It's a docs. It's a go. I got a website.
David's Substack is just one of the most OG Substacks. You've been on Substack for a long time.
5 years.
You're really good at it and you do really impressive reporting.
I'm actually not even on Substack anymore. I'm doing my own thing. It's on its own. No, don't apologize. No. Substack was great. I left and I'm now on my own little standalone thing. So I've got my own blog. So Webworm is flying free.
Webworm is amazing. Everyone should go subscribe.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for leaving comments and leaving reviews on the podcast. It really helps get the show to more people and helps us beat the man heavy, except for Flightless Bird. We love that man show. But it helps the algorithm.
Oh, there's way too many men yapping.
Yeah. And so thank you for supporting a woman yapping with men. You know, it's like we're bridging the gap. We're slowly getting there. And Amy left a really sweet comment on our last episode of How to Be Friends with Benefits. She said, Liz, I love that you shared that you should have prioritized having kids earlier. I had my kids at 39 and honestly love being a mom. But like you, I rolled my eyes at those who prioritize kids and marriages. I loved kid-free life, but after having my daughter, I was like, now I get it. I'm so happy for the opportunity to be a mom. Anyways, I relate to what you said. Thank you for sharing. It's been really sweet. There's been a lot of...
you have good listeners.
Truly the best. Yeah, thank you so much for your comment. Keep leaving reviews and comments. It really makes a difference. And David, promise you'll be back.
I would love to come back.
And if you want to see David come back, please let us know in the comments. Bye, everybody.
You be nice in the comments to me. Don't say mean things about me, please.
I
can't do it.
Be nice.
Be nice.
Bye.
Me levanto conmigo, eu falo conmigo, eu canto.